Hello, grade 7 learners. Welcome to today's lesson. And I remind you, my wish, my prayer for you. Focus, don't get lost. Listen and understand. Practice what you learn and be excellent at it, or be perfect. Have a dream eventually, but work hard to achieve that dream. I hope you have understood that and you will remember that. Well, let's get to the screen and do today's business. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about the methods of operation, which are multiplication and division. So today's lesson, this lesson is basically showing you how we do the multiplication and the division, what we call long multiplication and long division. Then the lesson which is going to follow this one will be actually doing more practice basing on what we have done today. Okay, so be ready to get everything that is important for you to understand. Okay. Right, take note. I just want you to know this important point. You will meet it, or you have known it, you have been practicing it, but maybe you didn't know what it is. In multiplication, we have what we call the identity element of the number that we call 1. 1. This element is that all the numbers it multiplies except 0, they don't change. All the whole numbers that are multiplied by 1 cannot be changed. Okay. Cannot be changed. 1 cannot change any whole number. Any whole number. Here we are given an example of 365,000. If it is multiplied by 1, it remains 365,000. If it's 1 million, it remains 1 million. If it is 250,000, it remains 250,000. Okay, also, we do long multiplication, right, when we are dealing with large numbers. And we use this method to break the difficult product into sum of simple products. You will see and understand this statement. Okay. Let's have an example here that we want to work with. 2,310 times 35. How do we work it out? Look here. We have got 2,310 times. So that number 35. Okay. We have broken it into its respective parts in terms of place value. This one is unit and this one is tens. So tens, it means this one is 30. 3 tens is 30 plus 5 units. Now we are now saying 2,310 times 30. Then the same 2,310 times 5, which is what is done here. Okay? So if we have done it like that, we call it the distributive property of whole numbers. You can remember that from the previous lessons. Or since we have started with the 2,310 times 30, this one can come later. We can start with this one as it is done here. And this is the commutative property of whole numbers. Okay. However, now this figure that we have and this one, we have taken them from this commutative law. This one is for 2,310 times 30, we get 69,300. Then 2,310 times 5 is 11,550. So because here we have broken this number into different parts where we can add them. So we are now adding the product of this and the product of this to get a sum here. So the product of 2,310 times 5 is 11,550. The product of 2,310 and 30 is 69,300. Now 11,550 and 69,300, their sum, it means we are adding. Their sum is this one, right? The sum of these two numbers. Okay, so basically that's how we do multiplication. Okay, let us also go and see how we can do multiplication in a column format. In a column format. Okay. In a column format, then it goes like this. We have our 2,310, right? Then we are multiplying by 35. How do we do it? We start by using 5 times 2,310. It is this one. And we get this answer, right? After that, we multiply by the tens, which is we are multiplying by 30, which is this one. And we get this answer. Okay? So after that, we add the 2 and we get their sum, which is now the total answer for multiplying with 35. Okay, so that is how we can do it in a column format. In a column format. Now let's look at division. Let's look at division. The long division we are going to use, we use it also when we are dealing with large numbers. We are presented here an example of 145,413 divided by 321. Okay. This one is just an overall working that has been done by someone who now knows what to do. Okay. So you can refer at it, just stop the video, look at it, and maybe gain more understanding. But we are going to do it bit by bit, know which number is written first, followed by which number, every step until we come to the end to get a 0. All right? So I want you to focus and don't get lost. Okay? And then listen to understand every step. Right. We have our number here, 145,430. We write our division line, right, in this formatting. Some may not put this one, some just make it like this, okay? Some just put a line, okay? Whatever, as long as you know what you are doing. So we are dividing this number. The dividing number goes to the left, right? Now, because we are dividing with a 3-digit number, we cannot start by dividing into 1 or into 14, but we can start to consider dividing into a 3-digit number as well from this number. But now 145 is less than 321. So we consider using 4 digits. Now this one is a big number to divide enough. 1,454. Okay. So now we say 1,454 divided by 321. If you can use your calculator, you find that the answer is 4. Okay, plus some remainders. But in long division, forget about writing down the remainders because they automatically get found and used as you work down your maths. Okay, so if it's 4, I write this 4 now here on top of the last number that we have divided, 1,454, on top of this other 4, right on top. Now, what will I do? Right? This one I'm just trying to show you if I've done the addition to find out. I add 321, 321, 321, 321. 4 of them will give me this. They won't give me 1,454 because it leaves a remainder, right? So don't worry about the remainder. If we add another 321, okay. Here, don't consider this one. It's a wrong punch that I've done. So if you add this 4, they will give you this number. So this number, 1,284, right? We get it if we multiply 321 times 4. I write that number right below the first number we have divided. And then I subtract this number. 4 times 321 is 1,284. I subtract 1,284 from 1,454. What do I get? I get the remaining 170. 170 is that remainder that we get when we divide here. So we can write remainder 170. But in this process of long division, we don't write it. Okay? We don't write it. It just works inside here. So if we subtract, what do we get? We write the 170. Do you see that? Because we are subtracting 4 minus 4, 0. We borrow a 1 from here. We make it 15. 15 minus 8, 7. Here we are left with 3. Then 13 minus 12, 1. Good. Now, here we are supposed to divide 170 divided by 321. But 170 is smaller than 321. So we make it bigger by bringing down this one. This one, we bring it down. Then it becomes like 1,701. Now it's bigger. So we divide now 1,701, we divide by 321. and we get 5. Don't worry about the remainder. So we write the 5 here. So 5 times 321 is this one. 321 plus 321 plus 321, all 5 of them, they give us 1605. 1605. Then we write that 1605. We've multiplied 5 times 321, 1605. Then this number, we subtract it from 1701. And what do we get? 96. So if we subtract it, we get 96. Good. Now here we should now divide again. 96 must be divided by 321. But it cannot, because 96 is smaller than 321. So we help 96 by bringing down 3. Now it looks like, and it is now 963. Then let's divide. 963 divided by 321 here. We get the answer 3. Perfect 3, no remainder. Right? So we write 3 here at the top where we are writing answers. Right? Then we multiply 3 times 321 here now. 3 times 321, what do we get? Here it is, we get 963. We write 963. This 963 that we've written here under this one, we subtract it from 963, right? 963 minus 963, what do we get? Our answer becomes a 0. Only when you reach a 0 here, you must know that you have finished the long division process. If the numbers that are dividing each other, if they divide perfectly, we are not going to have a remainder. Our final number to write down here will be a 0. But if after you have used the last number of the number being divided, and you still have something that remains, you will write the remainder here. It might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 20, something like that. Those numbers, it means they don't divide perfectly. But here we were doing a division of numbers that divide perfectly without leaving a remainder at last. I believe you have understood this. Okay, now we want to proceed with a few things ahead of us before we close our lesson. So this is where we write our answer in long division. Okay, just take note of this. The order of operation is very important in this case. Always work out the brackets first by removing the brackets first wherever it's possible. Then you follow the order. The order after removing brackets, work out the multiplication, then work out the division, then work out addition and subtraction, right? Start with the multiplication and division, then follow addition and subtraction, right? We are given, just have an example here that I have for you already done. 3 plus 4 times 5. Let's start with multiplication, right? 4 times 5 is 20, right? There are no brackets, so we go on to multiplication. Then this one, we are done with it. It has given us 20. Now we are now saying that 20 plus 3. And what do we get? 23. But if we have got brackets, first work out what is inside the brackets. 3 plus 4, what do you get? 7. Then you are done. You remove brackets. Now you write 7. That's 7 times 5. And what do you get? 35. Can you see that? When we don't have brackets, the answer that we get is different when we put some brackets somewhere. Okay? So take note of that. Take note of that. All right. So when you are doing these mathematical calculations, also be able to estimate what you think the answer would be and check whether it makes sense. Okay? It's a very good skill to use in maths. That means estimation. Right? Let's just use this example before we close. Estimate the number that sits in a hall, if there are 22 rows with 35 seats in each row. Okay. Look. Then the second question says, calculate the exact number of seats in the hall now. What we do for question number 1, 22 and 35. To estimate, we round them off. This one, we round it to the nearest 10, and also this one. If we round off this number, 2 is less than 5. So the tens does not change, and this one becomes a 0. Then it comes down, it rounds down to 20. This one, the units is 5. So it adds a 1 on 3, and it rounds up to 40. So if we multiply 20 and 40, we get 800. This is our estimation. Okay? But let's get what is the exact number. The exact number now, we are actually multiplying like what we have taught each other minutes ago. 22 multiplied by 5, it's 110. 22 multiplied by 30 is equal to 660. If we add the 2, we get 770. Can you see that? 770. If we round off to the nearest last place value here, or the highest place value is hundreds. So we round off to the nearest 100. We look at the tens. The tens are the number here, 7 is bigger than 5. So we add 1 here. It becomes 8. And these ones, we make them zeros. So 770 is close to 800. So the estimation was quite good. All right. So that's basically what you have to listen and understand. Then practice now. Practice for you to be excellent in your calculations. Well, I give you this exercise. Look at it, practice it. We are going to do this exercise in the next lesson. So please practice what I've just taught you. And I believe you are going to get most of them perfectly well. If you have got any question, don't hesitate to call me or chat with me on WhatsApp, and then I can help you before we get to the next lesson. Well, my learners, this is um, this is uh, this is how our lesson looks like. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay.